Welcome to NSNCR News.
Good morning. My name is Taryn, this is Celia, and that makes this NCNCR News. Today we have a team of reporters who for the last couple of months have come up with an interesting topic for your entertainment.
First, we have Cameron and his story on Barrow, Alaska's 67 Days of Darkness.
Good morning. Did you know that in 2018 in Barrow, Alaska, there was no sunlight but straight darkness for 67 days? According to KTUU News, Barrow is on track to get around 80 days of straight sunlight with no darkness this summer. Both of these occasions are due to Earth's tilt on its axis. Every year, Alaska is facing away from the sun in the winter months and then faces the sun directly in the summer. When Alaska doesn't face the sun, this day is very unique because it gets completely dark for at least 55 days. This is called a polar night. Now let's get into the heat of the news, literally. On the exact day of when Alaska faces the sun, it is actually not the hottest day of the year. The hottest day of the year in Barrow, Alaska is 46.7 degrees Fahrenheit. Anyway, the reason it's not the hottest day of the year is because over several weeks, solar energy builds up from the sun, and when it reaches Earth, it is stronger than the solar energy leaving Earth. Barrow is isolated and surrounded by wilderness, so living there is odd. Well, at least to the people that live around here. It's an odd town because there are no roads in or out of the town. You have to use planes. Since Barrow is the northernmost part of Alaska, the Alaskans rely mainly on the Arctic Ocean to hunt seal, polar bears, walrus, caribou, and fish. There are about 4,400 people in Barrow, and 64% of those people are natives. That's more than half the people. The native tribe that lives in Barrow are the Inupiat. Well, that's all the time I have today, so I hope you know why Barrow is such a special town. Back to you, Celia.
Wow, Cam's story was very interesting. Now we have Elizabeth and how online shopping affects local shops and businesses.
Have you ever wondered what would happen if we didn't have any shops or local businesses? My name is Elizabeth Kearney, and I will be talking about how online shopping is affecting our local shops and businesses. According to the Washington Post, brick-and-mortar stores are trying to survive these huge online sales. This problem is the most severe when there are holidays like Cyber Monday, Black Friday, and holiday seasons. People shopping online go crazy during these special events. Online shops have a huge advantage for selling stuff because they can reach anyone who has the internet. Stores online can also ship anything anywhere. According to the Washington Post, traditional shops can't keep up with online shops because of all the advantages they have. That is one reason why local shops are going out of business really quickly. Many stores and malls are going out of business across the country. This needs to stop. Local shops also have many advantages for selling products that online shops do not have. One of them is social experiences. A lot of people really like shopping and socializing in person, which you can't do online. Another reason is the customer might want to see and feel the product they want to purchase. This is a huge reason why some people do not like shopping online. Another holiday that local stores can get a lot of money on is Small Business Saturday. So many people like supporting this day. We need to make online shopping stop closing businesses. This problem must be fixed before all of our local shops and businesses are gone. I hope you learned a little bit about how you can help out by supporting your local businesses, big and small. We can make this problem better. Thank you for listening.
Great story, Elizabeth. And now we have Liz and her story on the government shutdown.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth James, and today I'm going to talk about the recent government shutdown and President Donald Trump. Most of us know that the shutdown was caused by the Democrats and the Republicans disagreeing about Donald Trump's wish to build a wall, secure the borders, and how much it will cost. The wall Trump wanted is about $5.7 billion, and it is 2,000 miles long. In addition to the wall, Trump would like to increase border control to cut down the people entering the country illegally. He also said that it would bring down the amount of drugs from our country. Trump also claims that it will be good for our children by keeping drugs off the streets. In the past, government shutdowns typically don't last long. This past one was 35 days from December 22nd, 2018 to January 25th, 2019, and it was the longest in history. Congress worked on an agreement when Donald Trump did not agree with the decision and declared a national emergency. This national emergency damaged a lot of people financially. Many people lost their jobs because of this incident. The shutdown ended with the promise more talks between the Democrats and the Republicans need to come to an agreement for increased border security within 3 weeks. At this point, the government has reopened by the president. Congress gave him $1.335 billion to finance only 55 miles in Texas. Although, according to Washington Post, President Trump is planning to demand another $3.6 billion in the new funding from Congress. This is where we are right now. Tune in next time for updates on this continuing story. Back to Celia.
Amazing story, Liz. Over to Taryn about air pollution.
Have you ever wondered how air pollution is made and even how it can be stopped? Well, today you'll find out. Hi, my name is Taryn Bauer, reporting from Londonderry, New Hampshire. Today we'll be talking about how air pollution is affecting the citizens of Bangkok, Thailand, and how we can prevent this from happening to the United States. The citizens of Bangkok are tortured by the terrible air conditions. Many citizens claim they would love to move to a clean environment, but do not have the money to get away. Because of the horrid conditions, many young children are being hospitalized. The reason only small children are affected is their lungs are more susceptible to the bad air. The elderly are also strongly affected because their lungs are weaker than most other people. The majority of air pollution in Bangkok is human-made. Bangkok is one of the most polluted cities in the world because of the over-excessive use of fossil fuels. Some of the main effects of air pollution in Bangkok are blood red eyes and bloody noses. The toxic smog has been especially bad in the past year for Bangkok. According to Time magazine, Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-o-cha told Thailand civilians to stay indoors because of the filthy air. Thailand officials are looking for a solution. One stands out the most: artificial rain. According to the Tiger, Bangkok plans to send seeds planes that shoot artificial clouds into the sky to create fake rain. This is their current solution to air pollution in Bangkok. The rain should clear up the bad air and make it breathable. Bangkok needs to stop using so many fossil fuels. The three main things causing the terrible pollution are trucks, cars, and buses. I believe it would be in Bangkok's greatest interest to clean up their act and stop air pollution once and for all.
I learned a lot about air pollution, Taryn. You're about to hear from Mason on concussions.
Have you ever in your life wondered what a concussion is? My name is Mason Visconti, and today I'm going to be talking about concussions in modern-day football. A concussion is a violent shock from a heavy blow. The signs of concussions are confusion, forgetfulness, glassy eyes, disorientation, clumsiness or poor balance, slowed speech, or changes in mood, behavior, or personality. Most concussions occur while losing consciousness. According to the Brain Injury Research Institute, 1.6 to 3.8 million athletes suffer concussions yearly. A person that has already had a concussion has a 4-6 chance of getting another one. Do you know what athletes do after they get a concussion is rest, light exercise, and do specific sport training. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell was happy to see a drop in the number of diagnosed concussions in the 2018 season. Goodell thinks that the new rule against lowering the helmet to initiate contact is a good idea. Changes were also made to kickoffs with banning wedge blocks. A wedge block is when blockers run shoulder to shoulder to form a high-speed shield for the kick returner. There was a 24% decrease in concussions in the 2018 preseason and regular season from 2017. That was a decrease from 281 to 214 in 2018. In the regular season, there was a 29% decline from 190 in 2017 to 135 in 2018. Goodell credited the league's new approach. He said, "I think we've been effective. I give credit to the players and coaches the way they've played the game. What's really remarkable about a close to 30% reduction in concussions is we actually have more screenings. Former NFL quarterback and Hall of Famer Kurt Warner thought he would never get a concussion. When he did, he knew it was serious. Warner thinks people don't know the seriousness of having a concussion and think it's not that big of a deal. When Warner returned to the field after his concussion, he was more aware. He also thinks people don't think about the future if they get a concussion. Warner says if his 13-year-old son's head feels weird, he won't go to his next game. He thinks that people should try to protect young players for their future if they want to play sports. 110 NFL players have died from CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which has to do with concussions. Some players like Junior Seau committed suicide because they had concussions. Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski has suffered multiple concussions in his career. Kevin Turner died of a concussion. Dan Marino and 14 former players sued the NFL because they had concussions. Some players that hit hard, like for example Cam Chancellor, almost got a concussion from a hit they delivered. Most NFL concussions happen on head-to-head hits or illegal hits. There was a combined 1,541 concussions from 2012 to 2017. On July 25, 2016, the NFL developed concussion protocol for any players with concussions. There was a safety meeting an hour before every NFL game. Diagnosed concussions grew by 58% in 2015. 28% of NFL injuries happened to the head. Back to you, Celia and Darren.
I once got a concussion. I had no idea how serious they were. And now we have Braden and his story on the Patriots offseason.
After our 6th Super Bowl win, the New England Patriots have to prepare for the offseason. Here is what Julian Edelman, one of the Patriots' wide receivers, does in the offseason. According to Forbes magazine, Julian Edelman got a private trainer to help train his body for the next season. And he also wrote a New York Times best-selling book called Relentless and a children's book called Flying High. He also does charity work. Next, we have Chris Hogan, another Patriots wide receiver. According to Providence Journal, Hogan spends a lot of time with his family. He is only home 6 months out of the year, and he plays football the other 6 months. His wife is a doctor in Long Island, New York, and stays there with their 2-year-old twin babies year-round. Last but not least, we have Tom Brady, the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots. According to CBS Sports, Brady has to balance spending time with his family and being a good parent with football training. He goes to bed at 8:30 p.m. and wakes up at 5:30 a.m. to train. He has special treatments to avoid getting hurt injuries to his Achilles tendon. Over to you, Taryn.
Wow, Braden. That's not surprising since all the players are so strong. And now we have Celia on Will Smith and the hate he's getting.
Between Twitter and Instagram, the hot topic is Will Smith and all the hate he is getting for being cast as a genie in the new movie Aladdin, coming to theaters May 24, 2019. The whole fiasco has got a lot of attention in the past January and February. The problem ranges from Will himself to the whole appearance of the fun, magical character. Most people are not excited by Will Smith's first public appearance as Genie. He apparently was not the fun and predominantly blue Genie that most people see in the 1992 film. Will was surprised by the comments. So, Smith writes on Instagram, "I'm going to be blue. This is how Genie is in human disguise form. My character will be CGI most of the movie." All the hate he is getting could foreshadow on the ratings and reviews of the action-filled movie. Another big part of the craziness is how the Genie looks in a sneak peek photo on Twitter and Instagram. People have been complaining about how Will Smith has a ponytail, and to some people it is outrageous and not right. The photo, taken for a sneak peek, shows the Genie without his blueberry face, and it is concerning to viewers that it won't be like the original design of the cartoon. I personally don't understand why people think the issue is something to fuss over. Nothing can be relatively close to the cartoons that are made, even with all the new technology. Even Though the problem is concerning to both viewer and creator, the whole movie could be a flop and people like me could not see any more of these type of movies anymore. Thank you for listening. This is Celia about Will Smith getting hate for being the genie. Back to you, Taryn.
From all the stories I heard, I learned a lot of information. That's all we have today. This is NCR News, signing out.
This is NSB News reporting from the Londonderry Access Center.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to NSB News. We have a few stories to share with you today.
I'm Annie Williams.
And I'm Will Erman. Over to you, Riley, with a story about commercial food versus real food.
Have you ever noticed how your Big Mac doesn't look as juicy or delicious as it does in the commercials? Or your seafood doesn't look as fresh as it does in the ads? There are many different people who help make commercial food look so good. Some of those people are food stylists, photographers, and image specialists. According to Science.com, respondents said an advertisement of Chick-fil-A's original chicken sandwich looked 108% more appetizing than the real deal. They'd be willing to pay $2.76 more than for the advertised version. The three worst offenders of unrealistic advertisements are Chick-fil-A, Burger King, and McDonald's. The thing is, there is no specific Federal Trade Commission regulations governing food photos used in advertising, so there is really no way to stop commercialists from doing this. They don't even cook the food all the way through. If they did, the food would shrink in size. Instead of milk, photographers use glue so cereal won't look soggy and won't sink in the milk. To stop us from wanting to buy this food, we should remember that commercial food doesn't look like the real food. Do you think there should be a law to stop commercialists from doing this?
I do think that commercialists are going a little bit too far.
Now, over to Annie with some space science.
According to a Newsly article, on December 3rd, 2018, a NASA spacecraft arrived at an ancient asteroid named Bennu. The spacecraft, Osiris-Rex, was sent from the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida. Its mission is to vacuum up about 2 ounces of Bennu's particles and bring them back to Earth in 2023. Bennu is most likely to have formed in the main asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. With a mass of 78 kilograms and a radius of 900 feet, asteroid Bennu is now located between Earth and Mars. Although some asteroids have moons, Bennu does not. Relieved, proud, and anxious to start exploring, tweeted lead scientist Dante Loretta. The asteroid particles may have information dating back to when our solar system formed 4.5 billion years ago. The asteroid particles will be the first collected by the United States. The container will parachute down to Utah. Osiris-Rex completed its orbit around the diamond-shaped space rock on December 31st, 2018. No other spacecraft has orbited such a small space body. This important event happened 1 week after a different NASA spacecraft landed on Mars. Bennu is a potentially dangerous asteroid because every 6 years it has a close approach. It could smack down into Earth years from now. During one of its close approaches in the late 22nd century, Bennu has a 1 in 2,700 chance of hitting Earth. Scientists think that by collecting these particles, they can learn more about asteroids so in the future we can head off a strike. Back to you, Will.
Hey, Annie, that's pretty cool. I never knew that the asteroid comes so close to hitting us every 6 years. Now, we are going to hear a story from Jaya about zoos that aren't treating animals with respect.
Are zoos helping us learn about the animals, or are they just entertaining us? We learn about each zoo animal by reading informational signs in front of their exhibits. Even though some people do read the tiny informational signs, most just watch the creatures and move on. Even if you do spot the signs, they still do not give you enough information. According to PETA, the signs often provide little more information than an animal's diet, species, and natural range, which means there is little to no facts about the animals on the signs. Even if you are reading the information, you still do not learn much, especially children. According to projectgap.org, 59% of children who are at the zoo had no positive educational outcomes. The children during the study were 7 to 15 years old. Zoos are not saving the animals, they're just keeping them for profit. According to OpenDemocracy.net, a gorilla was shot dead after a little boy came into the enclosure. It wasn't the gorilla's fault. 2 lions died in their cage in North Carolina due to lack of food. Should we still keep animals in captivity? My conclusion is that zoos should put more into the education part of their business and not as much into the entertaining. Zoos of the future should redesign animal habitats for the well-being of the animals, and their focus should be towards helping animals in the wild.
I think that zoos should treat animals with more care. Next, we are going to hear a story about the safety of football.
Good morning. Today I will be talking about the evolution of the football helmet in chronic traumatic encephalopathy, a brain injury that has happened to many NFL players. To date, there are 44 linemen, 7 quarterbacks, 13 linebackers, 17 defensive backs that have died of CTE brain injury. CTE brain injury is usually caused by many hard hits to the head and occurs at the ages of 17 through 30 years old. According to New York Times, 110 football players have died of CTE brain injury. Over the years, the football helmet has evolved. According to NFL News, in 1920s, the helmet was made of soft leather. Then, in 1930s, it was made of hard leather. In 1939, the John T. Riddle Company developed and patented the first plastic helmet. In the 1940s, it was made of hard leather and the first graphics were added. Later, in 1943, the NFL requires all players to wear a helmet. In 1949, the plastic helmet was adopted by the NFL. Then, in 1950, the helmet was plastic with internal padding. In 1955, the single face bar was added. In 1956, the first radio helmet was introduced by the Cleveland Browns. Next, in 1960, the plastic helmet had a double face mask. Not everyone wore a face masks, so in 1962, the NFL made rules where everyone had to wear a face mask because players were getting injured. In 1971, Riddle adds air bladers, which are holes on the top of your helmet to give you air. Next, in 1975, they added a full face mask. And in 1984, the first appearance of the protective visor. In 2000, the Riddle Company develops a revolutionary helmet designed to reduce concussions. In 2004, the single bar helmet was banned by the NFL. And now they have added impact-indicated chin straps designed to identify head injuries. The changes that the NFL have made for the football helmet help to have reduced brain injuries. But more rules are needed to protect players from getting hits to their head. Thank you. I hope you have a great day.
Man, I'm glad that the safety of the football helmet has improved, and I hope it continues to get better. Our next story is about the history of New Hampshire skiing.
Are you thinking about learning about New Hampshire skiing history? Well, now you can learn about it. Did you know that Cranmore Mountain was the first ski resort in New Hampshire? The original name of Cranmore Mountain was Infantry Mountain. The first trail lift was on Roe Mountain in Guilford. Bretton Woods is the largest ski resort in the whole state. Cannon was the first in New Hampshire to have ski patrol. Gunstock Mountain used to be called Benlap Mountain. On the way to one of the parking lots at Gunstock, you can still see the old race hill and race house. Gunstock was the first ski resort to have a trail lift in eastern New Hampshire. Gunstock Mountain is the only county-owned ski resort in New Hampshire, in the state. Did you know that Black Mountain is one of the oldest ski areas in the state? There was a mill put near Black Mountain on Goodrich Falls River to power the trail lifts. Black Mountain also had one of the first trail lifts in New Hampshire. Have you been to the tramway at Cannon Mountain? A person who loved the sport of skiing convinced them to build a tramway. That tramway was the first in New Hampshire and the United States of America, but it was replaced in 1977. Cannon Mountain is in Franconia State Park. Did you know that there are 33 ski areas in New Hampshire? Waterville Valley Ski Resort is owned by Chris Sununu, New Hampshire's governor. I hope you learned a lot about skiing history today.
I've always loved skiing, but I've never thought about the sport's history. Now over to Will with self-driving cars.
Hi, I'm Willerman. When you grow up, do you want a self-driving car? I know that some people do and some people don't. I'm one of the people that don't want one. This is why. According to Nikkei Asian Review, a lot of companies are putting a lot of money into self-driving cars. Also, some car alliances partner with these companies. One of the most famous companies is Waymo, a Google spinoff. It has already put cars in the Phoenix, Arizona area. It uses the Chrysler Pacifica minivan for transporting people. The companies that partner with Waymo are Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, Jaguar Land Rover, and the Nissan, Renault, and Mitsubishi Alliance. Toyota and Guardian Driving Technologies partnered with Uber to create their own self-driving cars. The alliance with Waymo has a total of 10.8 million car sales. The alliance with Waymo is called MaaS, or Mobility as a Service. But this is bad. According to The Drive, there are sensors all around the car and a camera to stay on top to see the road ahead. They also cost $70,000 to $150,000 to run. But by 2025, the price will drop to $5,000, compared to $9,000 for a regular car. There are also parking prices as well, so self-driving car companies avoid the parking prices. But doing this, they can create a lot of traffic. They do this because it saves money for the company, because cruising is less costly at low speeds. So, what they do is roam around before another person hails a ride. As a result, this can create havoc. Here is an example. There are 2,000 self-driving cars in the San Francisco area. They can slow traffic to 2 miles per hour. So, this is a problem, because as of June 12, 2018, San Francisco has a population of 884,363 people. That's a lot of people in a big city like San Francisco. Commute times can increase. So, driving slow means that companies will have to pay less money. Also, there is a chance a self-driving car can disengage. This means the technology stops working and you have to drive. This is Will Erman, NSB News.
I wouldn't want a self-driving car. Our last story today has the important topic of global warming. Over to you, Jacob.
Do you believe in global warming? According to National Geographic, glaciers are melting, so sea levels are rising, means that coastal places are getting flooded during storms. The glaciers in the Himalayas are melting and threatening millions in Afghanistan, China, Myanmar, and Nepal. Hurricanes are slowing down, which means that cities and towns along the ocean that get hit by hurricanes will get flooded because the hurricanes will drop more water on one place. Permafrost above the Arctic Circle is melting, which is going to cause problems. National Geographic said that wildlife is dying and trees are flowering sooner because of global warming. Here are some ways to help stop global warming. If we stop burning fossil fuels, we will produce less carbon dioxide. We should build dams, wind turbines, and solar panels. If you use trains instead of planes, you're helping. If you power your home with renewable energy like solar panels, that's good for the environment. You could use less electricity and you'd be helping planet Earth. Let's help planet Earth. Back to you, Annie and Will.
Thank you, Jacob. This has been NSB News.
Hello, welcome to RWN.
Hello and welcome to RWN. My name is Alexandra.
And my name is Blake. For news stories today, we have Alexandra with space pollution, Declan with robots taking our jobs, and Madison with ocean pollution.
We also have Nick with WWE, Blake with air pollution, and Rebecca with endangered animals. A lot of people are worried about the pollution on Earth, but have you ever wondered about pollution in space? Hi, my name is Alexandra Pena, and I will be talking about the pollution in space and how it could affect Earth. According to the Washington Post, space trash is a big problem. How does space have trash? Humans are sending up lots of satellites, but the satellites do not always come back. Scientists will lose touch with the satellites, and now the satellites are speeding through space and they are very likely to crash into one another. After they crash, they break into small pieces. Now you have a lot of trash speeding in space. According to Newsella, there are about 23,000 pieces larger than 10 centimeters, 500,000 pieces larger than a centimeter, and 100 million pieces larger than 1 millimeter. Space garbage moves fast. Are we safe from falling debris? Yes. A lot of junk falls into the atmosphere all the time, but it burns and breaks up before it hits the Earth. If space gets too much trash, it could affect the way Earth orbits. It can make low Earth orbit unusable. So as you can see, space trash is a big problem.
I hope you learned a lot about this problem and how it could affect the Earth. Back to you.
Wow, I didn't know that space pollution could affect Earth's orbit.
Now we will learn if robots will take our jobs with Declan.
Did you know, according to CNBC News, robots will replace humans by 2030? Hi, my name is Declan, and today we'll be talking about how robots could take your jobs and how it will affect people. These days, people are not needed as much in the workforce as in the 80s or 90s. They've been replaced by robots. Some jobs that have been taken in the last decade are bank tellers, factory workers, and even Uber or taxi drivers. That's not good because some people only know how to do one job and don't want to be taught another. That means less jobs for the growing community and less money. There's a chance you're being Ubered by a self-driving car and your food is being made by a robot. There is some upsides to automation, like robots don't need vacations, insurance, days off, or even sleep. According to Forbes, robots are coming and we need a plan. Some ideas to help people are to make new jobs or learn new ones. In fact, Forbes also says 45% of current jobs will be automated in the future. Maybe you think automation is a good thing, but next thing you know, you could be out of your job. Only you can stop automation.
Nice story, Declan. I didn't know that robots could take our jobs anytime soon.
Up next on RWN, we have Madison's story with ocean pollution.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to go to the beach and not have to worry about stepping on a piece of glass or plastic? I know it may be cool to find a piece of sea glass once in a while, but the animals in the ocean don't think the same way. Animals like seals, sea turtles, and dolphins' lives are being threatened by pollution. And believe it or not, people like you and me are the ones causing the pollution. According to the Weather Channel, there's 9 million tons of plastic being dumped into the ocean every year. That is the same thing as a whole trash truck worth of trash being dumped into the ocean every minute. The jackpot for trash in the ocean is halfway between Hawaii and California. It is called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The patch is 3 times the size of France and was made by a system of currents that takes most of the garbage in the ocean and swirls it into a gigantic circle that is 617,000 square miles. According to the Washington Post, at the current rate of 9 million tons of trash being dumped into the ocean every year, by 2050 the amount of trash will outweigh the amount of fish. Some companies, like 4Ocean, are working to remove plastic from the oceans. 4Ocean sells bracelets to fund their mission, which is to remove plastic from the ocean 1 pound at a time. Some advice that 4Ocean gives people is to research beach cleanups near you and get involved with your community to see what you can do. So if you don't want to see adorable animals suffer, then think before you do something as simple as dropping a piece of trash on the beach, because you may be putting a life at stake.
That was a very interesting story, Madison.
The next story we will have is Nick teaching us if the WWE is fake.
The sport of wrestling has existed for over 15,000 years, but have you ever wondered if today's wrestling is real? My name is Nicholas Bishop, reporting for RWN. Have you seen a fight where someone gets punched and they fall, but in World Wrestling Entertainment, also known as WWE, wrestlers get hit but remain standing? WWE is a sham. According to Quora.com, the referee talks to the wrestlers and seems to be telling them what to do next. The wrestlers are actors. The average wrestler will get paid over $500,000 per year. The stunts that they do are very dangerous, and some wrestlers suffer severe injuries doing them, states .co.com. It is still easy to get hurt, though. Owen Hart had an equipment failure. He fell 70 feet to his death. The Hart family sued WWE. A settlement was reached in November 2000, which saw the WWE give the Hart family $18 million. The WWE is risky, though, and people can die or get really hurt doing the stunts. What wrestlers do is called stagecraft. People should not do any stunts that the wrestlers do to their family members or friends. It could seriously hurt them or other people. Other wrestling enterprises are real, though. The Olympic sport of wrestling is real. The WWE will never be real. It is all for your entertainment. This is Nicholas Bishop reporting for RWN.
That was amazing.
Exactly.
Now over to Blake with air pollution.
Have you ever wondered why the world has gotten warmer over time? Well, today I will be talking about why that is happening. According to dictionary.com, The ozone layer is a layer of the upper atmosphere where most atmospheric ozone is concentrated, from about 8 to 30 miles above the Earth, with the maximum ozone concentration occurring at an altitude of 12 miles. It basically serves as an implied sunscreen, which protects people from getting sunburns and skin cancers from the UV rays of the brutal sun in the sky. The reason I am telling you about the ozone layer of the Earth is because it is getting destroyed. Refrigerators, air conditioners, and gas cars perform a big role in depleting the ozone layer. They all release something called a CFC gas, which destroys the ozone above our heads. Before we had all these pollutants of the ozone layer, the Earth was much cooler and all of the people got less sunburns and skin cancers, because the ozone layer was not destroyed. But nowadays, people have been destroying the ozone layer and people are getting more sunburns and skin cancers. This problem will lead to even more severe problems in the future if we humans keep destroying the ozone layer, such as the weakening of our immune system, the loss of biodiversity in oceans, lakes, and rivers, and global warming. So, how can we stop this giant dilemma? There are lots of ways to do so. You can ride your bike or use an electric car to get to your destination instead of using a gas car. Or you can switch off your air conditioner for a while instead of leaving it on all day long. Or you can buy eco-friendly air conditioners and refrigerators instead of regular ones. You can also switch to stick deodorant instead of using spray cans. Or you can buy ozone-friendly products. So, as you see, depleting the ozone layer of the Earth can be a big problem for all of its inhabitants, and we should all come together to fix it.
That was a great story, Blake. I didn't know that we could get more sunburns and skin cancer if air pollution keeps up.
Now we have Rebecca's story with endangered animal species.
Hello, I'm Rebecca. I have a question. What is your favorite animal? Maybe a panda, or a tiger, or the beautiful sea turtle. There is one thing that these animals all have in common. They are endangered species. You may see these animals in the zoo, but that doesn't mean that they aren't endangered. Some animals are so endangered that they can't be found in the zoo or the wild, but we don't know if they're extinct or not. How can we save these animals? Many reasons animals go extinct is because of us, but sometimes it's because of nature. Animals can go extinct by asteroid strikes, climate changes, diseases, loss of habitats, invasive species, and pollution. According to ThoughtCo.com, animals like the Steller sea cow, Tasmanian tiger, great auk, and the Beachy white dolphin are some animals that have gone extinct. Don't worry. Right now, you are actually helping endangered animals by listening to me. The more you learn, the more of a chance you'll make a difference to find solutions. Other ways to help is to recycle, volunteer to protect animals' habitat in your town, and reduce water consumption. There's so many ways you can help. If more animals go extinct, we could be affected and become a part of the problem too. Remember that you can make a difference and you can save many animals. Spread the word about these animals so they can be saved. Back to you, Alexandra and Blake.
That was an amazing story, Rebecca. I really learned more about endangered animal species.
That is all for RWN today. We learned a lot in a short time.
Yeah, like space pollution, robots taking our jobs, and ocean pollution.
We also learned about the WWE, air pollution, and endangered animal species.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.